Welcome to the 21st episode of the City Boy Show. I'm Javier, and we got Danny and Buzz. What is going on, guys?
What is up, my good sir?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. We're doing an early morning one. That's why you see bags under our eyes. We're half awake right now. It's a tough one, but we're here. We're ready to go. Crazy drama this week. This week we're gonna recap some post-game conference drama after the game. We'll recap the NYCFC match versus Cincy, and we'll go over this game against Charlotte. We need a win. It's become apparent that if we don't win, I think there was something that said we have a 99% chance of making the playoffs. So we'll still make the playoffs, but I think hosting a playoff game will be really, really important. But let's get into it. So let's get into the game first of all. What do we think of the game? Danny, run us through how the game went.
The game was, I thought we played really well that first half, right? The first half, the team came out attacking. They came out strong. It felt like an offense that reminded me of the offense of Thati. Also, I felt like Talis Magno had a little bit of a Thati flair to him, clapping every time he got the ball, put in some pressure. It just felt like a good offense. The only thing that messed it up was the Thiago Martin's own goal. But I really enjoyed that team in the first half, and that Pereira shot was huge.
Yeah, go Buzz.
I just want to say that when I saw that lineup, I fell in love with that lineup. I thought that lineup was amazing. It was, of course it would be better if we had Tati. We've talked about that last week, but I liked our whole setup there. We didn't have Maxi in the lineup though, right?
Morales?
Yeah,
we have.
No, he was there.
We did have Maxi.
Yeah.
So we had Amundsen, I believe,
Tavon.
play the left wing.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah. So I love the lineup. I love the energy that we came out with. I got all hyped up because I saw one of your posts on Twitter where we were undefeated at City Field.
Yeah, we're undefeated at City Field.
Yeah.
The streak continues. I mean, but it's like 2 times we went to City Field and they tied, and it felt like a loss, bro. I was like,
Right.
that didn't feel great. It felt like we should have came out winning that one. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people were tweeting that was the best first half they've seen in a while since Tati. I think Danny exactly said that, which is kind of crazy. And it kind of makes me feel like, are we setting our standards lower now? There was an own goal in that half.
So technically we scored 2 goals. I mean,
Sure.
That's true, but I will admit that there was like 17 shots. We had like 60% possession. It felt like somebody tweeted out. It felt like FIFA stats going on right there in that first half. So we were definitely dominant in that first half, and I think the second half we just came out flat.
Yeah. I mean, I think the guys were tired, man. We played a game on Sunday. We're back out there on Wednesday. It was. I think they just the pace that they had in the first half, I think it kind of exhausted them. And I know Buzz is giving me this look like you guys be tired at 18 years old, but I think that's what happened in that second half.
I think Cushing is brainwashing Danny again, because we have to remember we're not the only team in MLS that plays Wednesday, Sunday. Actually, we better start getting really used to this, because if this is going to be the lineup in the schedule in the future, we have no excuses.
That's true. Actually, Cushing admitted. Somebody asked him. He said, "Hey, you guys had back-to-back games, Monday, Wednesday, Saturdays, or Sunday. How do you feel?" And Cushing said, "That's no excuse. Every other MLS team does that." So I know you say that Nick is brainwashing Danny, but Nick feels the same sentiment. He said there's no excuse for that. I mean, literally everybody has the same schedule, so they're all jacked up.
Well, I said that about Cushing because when Cushing first took over, he used the word fatigue like 18 times in one press conference, and I'm like, fatigue, like Danny said, he's 19 years old. How fatigued is he? Like, play Talis, That's why I said that, but I'm glad he's wising up to the fact that every other team has to do the same thing we do.
So let's go back to the second half. Martin's got a red card right outside the box. Did we think that was a foul?
No, bro, that foul was so soft. And then for him to VAR it, and then his thought was, well, it was definitely a foul, but it wasn't inside the box. That was so dumb. And it's funny. So many people called it before the game that this ref is like anti NYCFC. And I felt like it was obviously not a foul.
Yeah, let me just tell you how I judge if it's a foul or a red card. If it was the other way around and it was our player that got fouled, would it have been a red card? And it wouldn't have been. They would have VAR'd it, and they would have been like clean, clear, and they would have continued. So no, that was not a penalty, and it sure shouldn't have been a red card.
There's been a lot of talk about Thiago Martins, and some people hate him, some people love him. One thing I would say is after the game, Nick Cushing also said, "Hey, we probably took him out. We put him in the game too early. He wanted to play, but he wasn't 100% healthy." Um, do we put most of the blame on this game on Martins? I mean, I think it's kind of clear that we do, because most of this game he allowed the own goal, then he got the red card. Uh, what do we think of our DP signing? Is he still vital to this team?
I think our record would be way worse without Martins. I mean, Martins. Think about it. Chanot was out. Chanot was blind for like the first half of the season.
And he wasn't blind. Let's not. He did have a missing eye.
He had one eye. He had that injury, and there was a lot of inconsistency in that back line. And Martins was like the only one who was consistent. Him and Callens, but Callens went out a few times. So I think I like the Martin signing. I think it's a good DP signing. I think he's played really well for us. I know in the beginning of the season we were very critical, but I mean it takes time to mesh in the back. But I do not hold. I don't hold honestly. I don't hold Martins accountable for this game either. I think he didn't help, but I do think that we didn't lose the game because of Martins. We had like 20 shots on target, guys. If we shot one more time on target. Maybe the strikers should take some of the forwards should take some shooting advice from Martins.
Well, I will agree with everything Danny said up until it wasn't Martins's fault for the loss, because honestly, he had a first couple of games were horrible at the start of the season, and we were very critical of him on the show. I was very much so, and then he started getting into his own. He got he got hurt at some point, but he's been very consistent. I think what Danny said is like spot on. If he wasn't on the team, we would not have the same record. I think our record would definitely be worse without Martins on the team. All that to be said, this last game is 100% his fault. I mean, it was a great shot by him. I just wish it was on the other goal, and even though I don't think he should have got the red card, at the end of the day, he did. And now we're playing a man down. We're already playing shaky in the second half. Now a man down, we're going to play even worse. Danny's point of maybe we should score some more goals or another goal, another shot that actually goes in. Yeah. But I think that he definitely has to shoulder the majority of the responsibility. I can't even get on Cushing for this game, because I think he did, some of the tactics were really great. They worked, which is why we had possession so much and we had all those shots on goal. I loved his lineup. So if we have to put the blame, I think Martins can take it for this one game.
I think you want to. Sorry, no, you go.
Go.
No, I was gonna say my one note was that if he would have subbed out, Martins has been out for a few games, so if he would have brought in a more rested player, I think that foul might have not happened, because that rested player could have caught up. Because I think what happened was Martins was exhausted, was trying to put all his speed into catching up to him, and then he accidentally touched his hand and then got a red card.
Well, I think we should say that first half was our best back line we've had in a while. So he must have been Cushing must have been thinking, I'm not changing this. This is working. This is the best we played in a while in this first half. So why change it? But I understand people were tired, even though Martins didn't play last game.
Well, he was injured, right?
He was rusty, I think.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something.
Can we just talk real quick about that back line that you just mentioned, Javi?
Yeah.
So we had Chanot,
we had Callens,
and Martins.
Yeah.
I mean that's the defense I'd like to have. Like
I don't think you could go wrong with that back line.
No. I mean, when I saw that, I think I texted you guys in the group chat, like this is a guaranteed W. I didn't know that Martins was going to score for the other team, but if we're going to play three in the back, that's a solid 3 in MLS to have as your back line.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I guess if we have that back line out every time, do we play the 3 in the back, more
Yes.
often instead of 4?
Yeah. And maybe we could actually, I don't know, score a goal instead of just holding possession and having a build up and not finish.
The
You know,
go.
no, it's good. You know what? Why I think Callens loves this is because now he gets to push up a little bit. Did you see him? Yeah. He was playing for a Mudson spot there, man. He was out there. Yeah, I couldn't believe how far ahead it was. Moreno, Javi mentioned it in the game that like if they would have gotten a good counter, we would have been in a bad situation though because there was just Chanoa Martins back there, but everyone was playing forward. It was insane.
On the own goal, let's go back to the own goal. Thiago was beating himself up about it, but Sean Johnson came to like comfort him. And there's been a lot of questions whether this team is together, how together they are, the leadership, who's the real leader, are they keeping each other accountable? Is that something we needed out there for Sean Johnson to really pick up a teammate and be like, hey, we got this? And it wasn't just Sean Johnson. I think Callens also picked him up. What do you think of? I guess the togetherness of the team. Does it seem like it's there?
Yeah, I mean this doesn't surprise me, all right, at all. It doesn't surprise me that Sean Johnson, who's been consistent for us all year, he steps up and he does the right thing. I mean, the guy's a veteran. He knows what the team needs. He's been in that locker room for years now. Like it was the right thing for him to do, and I think through actions, not just the words. It's fine when we have interviews with the players and they say the right things, but you saw right away, like if any of us, which none of us would have done, scored an own goal like that, we would want that immediate,
Yeah.
teammate, especially the guy we scored on, to come out and make us feel better about it. So I'm not surprised he did it. I love Sean Johnson. I really do. More and more that I watch him, I actually start feeling bad for him a little bit because there's only so much he could do back there. But I thought it was a great thing for them to do, not just him, but the rest of the players too. You're already spiraling downwards. The team is not playing well. The only thing that can make it worse is if we're having that bickering and fighting amongst ourselves. So I thought that was great.
Conspiracy theory, guys.
What?
They saw that back line. Dude Wipes knew they weren't going to score. They're running out of money because of all these clean sheets Sean Johnson has. They text Martins, yo, please, man, we don't got those 10,000 Dude Wipes.
So what do you think they did? They gave Martins 5,000, so they saved 5,000. They give Martins $5,000, but net they save money.
Exactly, that's exactly what's happening. They can't handle this sponsorship anymore.
Well, we know for sure there will be no Dude Wipes clean sheets next year. That's for sure. They've lost too much money.
So they might go out of business. We might need a different sponsor. But I think it was a game that we're in the right direction, a step in the right direction. We finally drew. It's something where we came out positive at the end of that. I know it's not the result we wanted, especially at home, but it's a step in the right direction. I think the conversation now turns to what happened, what transpired after the game. And I'm gonna let Danny take it from here, because Danny. So I don't know if people have heard it, but I'll let Danny talk about it.
Well, no, I think you should maybe sum up the situation, but actually, no, I guess I'll do it because I'm here. And the good thing is that Buzz has not heard any of this. Buzz was not at the game on Wednesday and does not know how to use the internet. So has not been catching up with things on social media. And so I'm going to give the recap to Buzz. And also just want a disclaimer here. I think with the plan here, because I feel like this is a sensitive topic, is we're going to just talk the facts about what happened at the press conference afterwards. And then we'll talk about a little bit of speculation on what caused that and then like questions out of that. Okay. So first, let's focus on just the facts. The facts of the press conference were we walked into the press conference and there's not a huge group of people, right? We see the same usual suspects. And one of those people are Mike Allen. Mike Allen, I was just praising him. We were just on his show, Blue City Radio, a couple weeks ago, and he always just seems to have the right question to ask. I'm a fool, all right? We've been doing podcasting for like 6 months, and we are not experts at this, but Mike is. He's a professional, and he's been doing this for years, and always love the way he articulates his questions. So it was myself, Mike Allen, this guy from Newsday, and someone who was working with him, and Cushing, and the media person who's Esteban. So then Mike, as usual, raises his hand, first question, and just a very normal Mike question. It was something to the situation of, you guys had 60% possession, you had X amount of shots on goals, which was a lot. You were the only team that scored tonight, but you came away with the draw. What are your thoughts on how that game went? And is it safe to say that this team just can't seem to catch a break? And Cushing just like looked at him and said, "What do you think? You seem to have a lot of comments on the way I play my strategy, the way the team should be. What do you think we should have done in this game?" Or something of that sort. And he then like paused for a second. So it wasn't anything crazy, right? He didn't say anything too crazy. He just said something like that. Like, "What do you think? You seem to have a lot of opinions on what I should be doing." And then he paused, composed himself, and then answered the question, but did not answer the question to Mike Allen. He answered the question to me, which was not in the same direction as Mike Allen. So he didn't look at him for the rest of the answer. And then the guy from Newsday asked a question. He asked a question about, Wednesday, Saturday games. Your team's tired. Is that playing in effect? He answered the question normally. I asked the question, which was, was there a spark on the team? Because they seemed to play really motivated the first half. He said, "Yeah, we're losing. That's what's motivating them. Let's get at it." Then Mike Allen again asked a second question, and he's like, it seemed like there were, what was your strategy after Martins came out the game? Because it seemed like you guys were still going for a goal. And dude once again looked at him and was like, "What do you think? We have 10 people on the field, not 11 people on the pitch anymore. Do you think we have to change the strategy?" "Yeah, we got to change the strategy." Just like it was just very tense. And that was pretty much what happened. And then other questions got asked, and that was it. But that was what occurred in the press conference. Some speculation to that is that I think one thing that I forgot to mention, every response, and we were talking about this game, no one asked about the New England game, but every response, he mentioned the New England game. Like, I thought we had a good strategy in New England. Yeah, we let away a lot of goals in New England, but there were mishaps, but I still think it was the right strategy. Yeah, I take the blame for us losing in the New England game. He talked every time someone asked a question, he talked about the New England game and the Cincy game, although no one asked about the New England game. And I think this is the speculation part. We follow Mike Allen on Twitter. He has a pretty big fan base. When you go to NYCFC during games and you're on, you're seeing what the crowd thinks, or not the crowd, the fans think on Twitter. Mike Allen's comments are always on top, and Mike Allen seemed really frustrated on Sunday. So he was saying that the lineup was bad. I think he mentioned that he didn't like the
tactics, I believe it was.
Tactics. And at the end of the night, he said Cushing out. And so I look at speculation. Your boy Cushing looks at Twitter and was out to get Mike Allen on Wednesday.
Yeah. So that is what we think happened. I mean, we've been in prior press conferences. We in those prior press conferences, Michael Allen is respectful. I don't think he says anything out of line to get Cushing upset. So it kind of warrants I think that probably Nick Cushing saw his tweets on Sunday night regarding New England, because he kept going back to the New England game. And that's why he was upset. We don't know for sure. Nick Cushing never mentions, "Hey, I read your tweet. I saw what you said." So I think that's kind of the big factor in all this. But it kind of warrants that we think that's what happened. It just seems like that's kind of where it all went. And I think one thing we should mention is after this, so nobody was recording inside the press conference. Usually the team does their own recording of the press conference, and then we as media members use it to then get quotes and use it for whatever avenue where our media outlet is for. And then so once they gave us the footage from the press conference, that first question where Nick Cushing responded to him, and maybe not the nicest way, was cut out. So it was cut out from the press conference video for just the media and for the ones that are published on the NYCFC website. So that's a whole nother factor that I think got people upset. And Chris Campbell, I believe on Twitter, said, "Hey, this is where the problem lies. It's not the tension between media and Nick Cushing. It's the fact that you blatantly did not give out the content or give the context of what the video actually was, which was the full press conference."
All right. If I could put some input here, because I didn't, like Danny said, I didn't know any of this happened. First, I like how Danny made it all about him making eye contact with Nick Cushing. That was amazing. He could have looked at anybody in the room, but of course it was Danny.
Wow, he just glazed into Danny's eyes and his mustache.
Yeah, exactly. That mustache that keeps getting better and better. I mean, now I'll make it about us for a second. If Nick Cushing's watching social media or YouTube, he's probably not going to want to answer any of my questions too, because I don't know who could be more critical of him than me. But I mean, it doesn't sound like this guy did anything wrong. I mean, first of all, the question that Danny said he said, that's a good question. That's a legit question. And the second question that Danny said he asked at the end, that's also, yeah, he's not implying that you shouldn't make a change. But sometimes if you're down to 10 men, you're just playing more defensively. Maybe you're not trying to score a goal knowing that you're down a man and you don't want to open yourself up to a goal. So the way Nick is responding, it sounds like, yeah, he's a new coach. The NYCFC coverage is growing, but it's still small. So it's very easy for him or any player on the team to get some feedback of what people or fans are saying about them. It wouldn't be out of the norm for me to think about your team is doing bad. You're under scrutiny. Now somebody's, outwardly asking for your dismissal. It would be human nature, I think, to have a little resentment. I don't think you should do that. And maybe NYCFC knows that's a bad look and purposely cut that out so it doesn't look bad upon the team. But Nick is not doing himself any favors. I mean, he's already in, a bad position. Having like a moment like that can't help his cause for staying.
Yeah, I guess that's part of the discussion, right? It should NYCFC have cut that part of the footage out. And I don't know. You tell me, Danny. What do you think they should have cut it out?
I mean, when you're the journalist major, right? And you're the one who used to journal. You're the one with the Emmy. But my opinion, I think it's okay for them to do it. And my thought behind it is that, in bigger sports in the United States, such as, ESPN, Fox Sports, those guys, they're in there with their own cameraman, their own mic, and they're capturing their own footage, right? And that's what they're putting on their websites, on their social media. They're not out there waiting for the Knicks or the Jets to release their own media footage, right? So, and they allow us to bring cameras in there. So it's kind of our responsibility to capture what we want after those games. So am I upset that NYCFC cut their own footage to not make their team look bad? It's really hard to say no. I understand that they've been in the past keeping information, regarding like David Villa and regarding, sometimes just injuries. We always talk about that, injuries and stadium updates, and they're just bad at keeping us in the loop. But in this situation in particular, I don't think it's their fault. It's our fault, for not being there. I mean, typically you go in there with your camera and you record them. Would have you given the same responses if you would have seen another camera there? I don't know. But I don't hold it against NYCFC for editing the footage.
Nor do I. I mean, it's a business, right? You have to understand it. It's our soccer team, but at the end of the day, it's a business. And if you're running a business and something might make you or your business look bad, you're going to not try to publicize that.
Well, I would say as a journalist, I disagree because in the sense that, okay, if you want to cut out the footage from what the fans receive on the NYCFC website, fine. But if you're gonna give us the interview in our press, and this is the full interview, you say they didn't say full interview, but they gave us a link to the NYCFC website, and that was not the full story. That was not the full interview. So you're purposely cutting out information that does not make your organization look good.
Sure.
But that's part of that's New York media. I mean, maybe somebody sees that and says, "Look, Nick is passionate. Nick cares about this team, and when he gets criticized, he wants to do better, and he wants to make the team better, and it's firing him up." I just don't think, why withhold information. And we talk about other organizations. If you look at the Jets after the game, the press conference is live. It is live. You can go on their Twitter handle and you will see the press conference happening live, where fans could see what actually transpired during that press conference. There's been other organizations who you just go on their Twitter after and that's live. So nothing's being withheld. In this sense, there is some information being withheld. And I think that shouldn't happen. I think the fans should be able to see exactly what transpired. And I know that Chris Campbell asked, he asked for the full footage, and I don't know if they've received it or they've not responded yet. But as of now, I don't think they have. Chris Campbell's received it.
Whatever digital shredder that exists, he used it to get rid of that footage. I don't think we're gonna see that footage again. I mean, I do think I always thought it was interesting that they don't live stream it. I always thought maybe we should do that, but I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough situation to be in, and I'm not sure if I still don't think NYCFC did anything wrong. And honestly, I want to go back to the point that you mentioned about Cushing being fiery. The team was fiery that day, and I don't know if he took those tweets and he was trying to make an example of Mike and kind of motivate his team, because I mean, you saw when Pereira scored that shot, it just felt like this tension was released, and this team was just so excited to like win for the team and win for the coach. So I think it's something where I think Cushing came in there with an agenda to be fiery, to get the team to play fiery, and they did. And unfortunately, it got released on a guy that I don't know whether he deserved it or I don't think he deserved it. But at the same time,
I think I'm gonna be honest. I think it's a stretch to say that he came in there fiery so that his players are fiery. I think he was genuinely upset. I think he possibly read those tweets. Of course, it's speculation, but it seems like it because Michael Allen gave him no other fuel to feed that fire. And I think he was just upset and he couldn't hold back. And I think he was harping on that for days because he came in there ready to talk about it when nobody was asking him about New England.
No, that's true. That's true. But I kind of get it, man. Like I like Mike Allen, but I also get that, like, if I saw someone 3 days later and they were just talking about how I should, lose my job, it's hard not to be upset, man. Like, and I'm not a head coach, so maybe it's different, but it's hard to not understand why he got so mad.
Guys, I think that's what you're talking about, Danny, is human nature. All right. I am easily the most sensitive out of the three of us. I would tell you that if it was me, I'd be very upset. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to hear it, but I'm also not a head coach of a MLS team. Like you guys have been sports fans. Javi's been covering sports his adulthood. Like, imagine whatever Nick Cushing is under is a fraction compared to the head coach of Barcelona or Real Madrid or the Yankees. I mean, Aaron Boone was getting killed.
But I would say even if there are bigger organizations, it's still your job on the line, right? You're the center of your own story, right? And Nick Cushing is the center of this organization and his storyline, so it matters to him a lot.
Sure.
Just like it would matter to me if my job was on the line. So I don't know. So yeah, and one thing I want to say, just to kind of recap this whole conversation, is Mike Allen did tweet after that him and the organization had a conversation and everything, I guess, has been solved on his end. And he has no, I guess, ill feelings towards Nick Cushing. He understands the magnitude of I guess the conversation. And it's hard for me to talk for Michael Allen, but according to his tweets, it's been resolved.
I think it might have been resolved because he knows that he's not going to have to deal with Nick Cushing too much longer. So he's probably just chilling back. He's like, oh yeah, we'll let this slide because you'll have no job at the end of the year. You know what I mean?
Guys, I don't know, man. I'm still pro Cushing even after this game. I'm even more pro Cushing than I was after the last game.
Danny's a funny guy.
What is all this guy did is stare in Danny's eyes, and now Danny's like trying to get him a 5-year contract extension over here. Danny, you got to stop, Danny. Like, this is not that important for him to look at you. Maybe he was trying to look at the guy or girl behind you. I don't know, but it's not about you and your mustache every day.
You saw something on the chair behind you, bro.
But I think something we talked about, and I talked about on the Blue City Radio podcast we were on, was that I didn't know if Cushing had like presence. Like Ronnie walks into a room and you're scared, man. The dude's tall, he's big, he just had this like presence. Cushing showed presence that day, bro, in that press conference. I was scared. I didn't even know what to do afterwards, man. Like I wanted to go to Mike and console him and be like, sorry. But I was also like, I don't want Cushing to murder me either. So like I like a punk ran straight to Javier and go look for him in the locker room and said, let's get out of here, bro. I'm scared. But that was tough. So
and you did say that he said, "Oh, I just want to make sure we're super clear because I don't want any words to be." He never said that he wanted Nick Cushing fired. He did say, I believe, in one of his tweets, Cushing out. And those tweets, I don't think we can find anymore. They may have been deleted, but just to throw that out there,
guys. If you can, I'll give you my login and password. Go on my Twitter account, and you could do like hashtag Cushing out like 20 times in a row. I don't care. And I won't delete it because I don't even know how to delete things on Twitter. But please, that's not a horrible thing to say.
Well, I would say it's not a horrible thing to say if you're a fan, but as somebody who's covering the team, you can't expect to have a relationship with someone if you're saying Cushing out or something along those lines.
No,
right?
Javi, what you're saying is that right. Good point, Javi. Exactly right. You're not going to have a positive relationship if you're doing that, but if you're a fan first, right, you have every right to want what's best for what you think is best for your team. And if you feel like a player's not playing well and you want him to be benched, if you feel like a coach isn't doing his job, or like Danny said last episode, he wasn't happy with some of the front office people, you as a fan have that right to say that.
No,
your point is valid though, Javi. Now you could be a fan like we are, but now if you're impressed and you're going to be having interactions with these people, it's almost impossible to have a good relationship, right?
Exactly.
Good
That's
point.
why we gotta keep Buzz at the press conference.
we keep Buzz at home because of that.
All right, let's hashtag Cushing out right there.
Is there anything else, Danny, before we move on? Because you always say I didn't let the conversation simmer. So do you have something else that you want to input before we move on?
No, I think we covered this to the extent. Hopefully, there's no more drama, and the drama stays on the pitch.
Could we, since this was still technically last game, can we just recap the fact that last episode I said start Pereira, everybody agreed, and sure enough, our boy comes back and scores a goal the very next game. All you got to do is play Pereira.
Pereira's becoming a stud, man. He's got something to prove out there, which is
fun
to watch. He is fun to watch.
Yeah.
And Tavon's been on fire lately.
Oh, that cross was beautiful.
Now we're going to compliment his crosses. We destroyed his crosses.
He had a good cross. You got
to take away from that goal to Pereira was because of the cross, man.
I understand that, but all year we've been talking about his crosses and lack of quality crosses.
Yeah, well, if Cushing's looking at tweets, maybe Gray's looking at the podcast. He's out here saying, maybe I should work on my crossing.
Fair enough.
Okay, let's move on. Let's get into this Charlotte game. I wish we could be there. I'm actually I want to be at Charlotte just because it's the first time we play Charlotte at their home. Granted, I think it's the Panther Stadium, so it's not really their soccer stadium, but it's still pretty cool. It seems like the atmosphere has been great out there. What do we think are the keys to win this game?
I just can't believe they let a soccer team play on a football specific stadium. Like, that's just so wrong. I don't know how we're supposed to win on a stadium like that. Like, it's just not okay.
This
So
is sarcasm, obviously.
I think that using I think it's gonna be tough only because we don't have Chanot because of yellow card accumulation. We don't have Kacha, and we don't have Martins because of the red card. Cushing even said in the last game, this was the most expensive draw we've had because we're losing so much of the defense. So I think we have to find a way to patchwork that back line so we don't give out goals and then use that same lineup that we had on the offense because I thought we played really well last game. And something that Cushing mentioned was, we are an offensive team. We need to stay offensive. And I'm not sure if he said that out loud because he just realized that because we haven't been super offensive the past few games. And so I hope we go back to that. And I think if we stay offensive, then we don't have to worry so much about the defense, and then we win the game.
I have a different take here. First, maybe Cushing was talking about when Ronnie was our head coach and Danny kept quoting every episode, our best defense is our offense. I miss hearing that on the podcast because we haven't had that same offense since Ronnie's been gone. But where I disagree with you, Danny, is I don't think we could do the same lineup. A, because we're missing players. B, our defense isn't good enough to play. The only reason our defense was good enough to play three in the back is because we had three absolute studs back there. If we don't have those same guys back there, I don't know how we could hold three in the back. And which means we'd have to go to four in the back just to shore up the defense. But the defense is the key because I think if you're in the midfield and you're Maxi and you have Callens behind you and you have Martins and Chanot that you've played with for years now and that you have that chemistry, you could maybe push up a little bit more. You could do things a little differently with that confidence behind you. But if you're giving up goals and your defense isn't shored up, I don't know if you want to be that aggressive, knowing that, especially Maxi at his age, having to run back and play some defense.
I agree. And we lost to these guys early. Do you guys remember the scoreline when we played them earlier? At home?
Against Charlotte?
Yeah, against Charlotte. That's what I was looking for.
I don't remember that we played Charlotte.
We did. No. We did just a few weeks ago at Yankee Stadium.
So that means we had to lose because we only won one out of our last 6 games.
Yeah, we did. It was 1-3, August 17th.
Yeah. So we lost 3-1?
No, we lost 1-3.
And it was one of those games where we held possession for most of the game. We had more shots. We had more shots on goal. We had 65. That was what?
The Chanot shot?
Oh, the one outside the box?
That wasn't at Yankee Stadium. That was at Red Bull Arena.
Oh, okay. So that was.
Yeah.
It was at Red Bull.
So, Danny, clarify, what was the final score of that game?
It was 3-1. Okay. Or some would say 1-3.
Gotcha. Okay. So we got to do something differently. Hopefully, Nick and his tactics are different this game than they were that game.
That's all I got to say for this. Danny, I'm like, I don't know if you want to talk more, but
no. I think I'm exhausted from all that Cushing drama.
All right, let's get into betting with Buzz. We talked about it. We lost 3 key players. How's this going to play out?
Listen, Buzz is done with taking NYCFC to win every week because until Nick is out, there is no way I could do this. I'm losing people's mortgage money, car payments. This is terrible. And it's because I'm a true fan of the team. But we will not do that this week, okay? We're going to tell you right now the odds. Charlotte's plus 120. The draw is plus 250. And NYCFC as the dogs on the road are plus 185. It would be a dream. It would be so nice to think NYCFC will win on the road with the plus money. It's not happening. All right. We're not going to get the win. First time in history of the podcast, we are not taking NYCFC to win. I'm still going to be optimistic, even with the 1-3, 3-1 score line that Danny kept telling me about. We're going to draw. We're going to still make plus money. Take the draw. I would think it's going to be a little bit of a high-scoring game. Charlotte likes to play free-flowing. I'm going to go with the 2-2. So why do I give the exact thing? I gave the exact thing because the next bet, we're going to take the over, which is negative 142 for over 2.5 goals. Take the over. We're not going to have our best defense out there. Charlotte likes to be aggressive too. High-scoring game. Unfortunately, we don't win.
All right, final prediction time. What do we think, Danny? What's the final score at the end of this?
2-1 NYCFC.
How do you still have only one goal to allow with half of our defense gone?
Yeah, that's why we got to be offensive, man. I don't think we're going to see the ball on the other side of the pitch. That's how we win this game. 2-1.
Danny, what did you talk to Nick this morning or something? Or what's going on over here?
I still believe, guys. I don't know what it is, but I really like that team on Wednesday, and it just feels like we're back.
Yeah, no, I like that team, but that same team is not going to be out there this game.
We might have Keaton Parks out there.
Oh yes,
Keaton Park will be talk about that.
Yes, So let's talk about it now. Keaton Parks and possibly Anton Tinnerholm. I don't know if Tinnerholm's back yet, but definitely Keaton Parks was a sub, so it'd be great to see Keaton Parks back out there. I think that'll be huge for the team.
Oh my God, what a morale boost! Remember, guys, it's been so long, but he was playing all-star level, talking about national team. Like, guys, he was a beast for us in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, he really was, and I think and what got lost in all of this is we kept blaming Nick Cushing, but we forget all the injuries that was part of this as well.
I mean, there's some conspiracy going on between the Gutierrez brothers.
No. I'm saying Nick Cushing is at fault for some of this, but there also have been a lot of injuries, and we did lose our key striker, Tati Castellanos. So I mean, these things need to be brought up.
So injuries happen at the exact time that Ronnie left the club, right? There was no injuries prior, right?
Yeah, but we were able to mask a lot of our bad play with Tati just scoring a lot of goals for us.
Oh, so it had nothing to do with tactics, right? There was no tactics. This guy's so in love with his New England tactics. If I hear about that after this game, I'm going to be in shambles. I think Tinnerholm coming back, he came back after missing the whole first half of the season, played well. Yes, he was a little fatigued. I can't believe I used the word, but he just came back from the long layoff. But I would love to have him back, especially with not having Chino in the lineup.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see. My final prediction will say I'll go 3-3, high-scoring game. We finally get the ball in the net, and that's where we end up. That's what I'm hoping for. And Buzz, you said 2-2, right?
I said 2-2. The one lock of a lock is the over. I mean, the draw is good money plus 250. But if you gotta put the mortgage on it, it's gotta be the over. I mean, we're gonna be giving up goals, and I feel very confident in that over.
All right, guys. If you like the show, please like, comment, subscribe. Any final words, guys?
Nick, I'll be extra nice to you in the next press conference if you like and subscribe to the podcast. Danny is your #1 fan, so thank you.
I hope we did right. Once again, disclaimer: we are all idiots on the show. We do this for fun. It was one of the very few times we have a scoop, and we try to be as sensitive as possible. So I hope we did a good job translating it.
Yep. Ladies, y'all. Peace.